If you're looking for winners in college football, the NFL, and the NBA, you have come to the right place. This is Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. We are here breaking down everything you need to know, giving you the winners you need to know, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
I'm doing really good, Tanner, as you know, for the third time because we've had some technical difficulties this morning. But I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, we got Christmas coming up next week, but it feels like the sports gods have given us all presents this week. As we sit here recording this today, we got the NBA Cup final tonight. We got the college football playoff on Friday. We only have to wait for NFL Sunday because we're getting games on Saturday. It's a very fun time of the year to be a sports fan, and I'm excited to talk about it and win some picks.
It's been a brutal morning for the podcast so far. We are three intros deep right now, maybe four. Our streaming service was not working this morning. We are now on Zoom. So if it looks a little different, it's because we're using Zoom today. Shout out Zoom. It's weird recording a podcast on here, Grant. I feel like this is what we used to do, at least at one point.
Yeah, I feel like I'm supposed to be interviewing for a job right now. I don't feel like I just am not ready to record a podcast on Zoom.
Yeah, it feels weird. But anyways, we have college football on Friday night. We got the NFL starting on Thursday. Obviously, Saturday games this week. We got the NBA Cup tonight. So we're going to break all that down here on the podcast. But before we do that, Grant, why don't you tell the people about WSN.com, the World Sports Network?
100%, guys. Well, if you are enjoying the content here on the YouTube channel, which, by the way, if you are, do hit that like and hype button, and also why not subscribe? But if you're enjoying it, if you like winning some picks, we had a lot of likes, a lot of views on the last episode. Tremendous reception. We appreciate all you guys. If you like what we're giving out here, then you got to go check out WSN.com because myself, Tanner, the team of experts, we're giving out picks in all the major sports. And above all else, we have promo codes for the sports books. That means thousands of dollars in bonuses. That can be bet to win. That can be profit boost and deposit matches. Anything you're looking for, we got it there at WSN.com.
Yes, we do. And you know what we got here, Grant? The best college football betting picks you are going to find. So if you want to win money on college football this weekend, specifically the playoff games, you have come to the right place. It all kicks off on Friday night in Norman, Oklahoma. We have the Alabama Crimson Tide traveling to Norman to face the Sooners here. Oklahoma owns Alabama. Alabama has an Oklahoma problem, but I do not think that Oklahoma is going to get Alabama for the second time this season. Grant, I'll break it down a little bit, but I want to hear your thoughts on this game. What are you picking?
So you want me to just lead with who am I taking here?
I want you to lead with who you're taking because the people don't want to waste time here. They want the pick.
Well, you stole my thunder because I'm taking the Tide too. Roll Tide. I'm going with it.
So, personally, for me, I don't know how anybody, and this is why I wanted to lead with the pick, because I think this game is so clear cut and obvious. I don't know how anybody could put their hard earned money on somebody other than the Tide in this game. Oklahoma got lit up across the board in the last game. They just forced turnovers. They had the pick six, obviously. If Alabama just simply doesn't turn the ball over, I don't think there's a route to victory for Oklahoma. I don't know about you, though.
Okay, so again, it's like you're stealing my thunder here. I don't know if you read my notes or something like that, my imaginary notes that I didn't really write down. But yeah, to just expound on what you're saying here, Oklahoma did a great job winning that game. Oklahoma's had a hell of a season. Brent Venables' defense is terrifying unless it's in the national championship game. They deserve all the plaudits because they've done a phenomenal job. They've had a great season. Go back and look at the numbers from that game. Total yards, 406 to 212 for Alabama. Yards per play, 5.5 for Bama, 4.1 for Oklahoma. Alabama had how much they had I had it right here. 326 passing yards, Oklahoma had 138. They barely won the rushing battle, but they still won 80 to 74. Oklahoma committed more penalties. Alabama had a greater time of possession. Alabama was better on third down. Alabama was better on fourth down. Like you said, it's the turnovers where the game was won. And hey, that's part of having a great defense like Oklahoma does. But an 87-yard pick six is not something that you're going to be able to depend on every game. Winning the turnover battle against a team as good as Alabama 3-0, not something you can depend on every time that you take the field. And not to kind of just draw on here, but if you had a quarterback who could play at an elite level, you had like a Heisman level running back candidate, that would be totally different. But John Mateer, more times than not, has not been that good down the stretch. Now, he had 318 yards in his last game against LSU, but 2 touchdowns to 3 picks. In the games before that, it's 173, 138, 159, 150 passing yards with 223 against Ole Miss. It wasn't a good finish to the season for Mateer. You're putting everything on the back of the defense, and it's a defense that lost the battle against Bama. They did just force those turnovers.
Oklahoma has a scoring problem, number one. And I vividly remember the Alabama-Oklahoma game. That one hurt me so bad that weekend. I had everything tied to Alabama. And I was sitting at Yard House. I'm watching the game. I was just freaking miserable. I was miserable the entire time. So I'm sitting there watching the football game, obviously. And when I look at how the game played out, there wasn't a moment in my mind down the stretch there that I didn't think Alabama was going to get it done. I thought Alabama the entire time was going to get the job done, and they just consistently failed in those critical downs. But as you said, I mean, Alabama dominated the game. There's a bigger route to victory here, even though the game is in Oklahoma for Alabama, and also too the pride factor. It's a program game. What does Kalen DeBoer want his program to be? Do you want to be the team that lost to Oklahoma twice in one season, especially last year too? Oklahoma was the team that virtually kept them out of the college football playoff last year. Or do you want to go in and make a statement that they have? You can't get a better opportunity than this for Alabama. You're going on the road to a team that you're better than, that has owned you, and you have the opportunity to make things right. So I think it's a really good spot for Alabama here. And quite frankly, I don't know how anybody could pick Oklahoma in this game. I really don't.
I also refer to Kalen DeBoer as maybe the best big game coach in America. And hey, he's in contention with Kirby Smart, right? So you look at the SEC championship game, and Georgia's a better team than Alabama is, in my opinion. And hey, Kirby got the better of him. There's no shame in that. But you look at DeBoer in these big games, back when he was at NAIA Sioux Falls, I think it was, he was winning national championships. He gets Washington to the national championship game. The regular season games against Georgia each of the last 2 years. Those big games, those are the ones that Kalen DeBoer wins. So I think they approach this as this is the biggest game. We got to, we're going on the road, taking on a team that beat us already this year. We got to make a statement, start the playoff the right way. I could see them dominating this game and losing in the second round, because that would kind of be the Kalen DeBoer script. Win the huge games, struggle a little with kind of like the meatier middle portion of the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, Kalen DeBoer made Michael Penix look like a good quarterback, so he can sugarcoat it with Ty Simpson a little bit. I think Ty Simpson's smart, but he kind of scares me. I don't know if he's that guy, but we'll find out. Anyways, Alabama's getting healthier. Alabama wins the football game. We go to Saturday, Grant. Now, the first game on Saturday is the one people care about. I think if there was an upset in the Ole Miss Tulane or the night game there between JMU and Oregon, people would be surprised. Obviously, we can glance over those in a little bit, but Texas A&M hosting Miami. They're a 3.5 point favorite. College Station's going to be rocking here. A lot of people like Miami in this game. I'm seeing a lot of people like Texas A&M, pretty split down the board. You hate Carson Beck. You're not a Carson Beck guy. I am the biggest Carson Beck guy in the world. I love Carson Beck, but I have to go against him in the spot most likely. But I'll hear what you have to say first, Grant.
Well, that's pretty funny, because I'm actually leaning towards Miami.
Wow. Why?
Because as much as I might not be a Carson Beck guy, I'm also not a Marcel Reed guy. I would rather have Carson Beck in this game. I had Marcel Reed's stats up here for you, if you don't mind. So looking at how he did against ranked opponents this season, he had 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick against Notre Dame. Good numbers, but you know who else had good numbers against Notre Dame? Carson Beck, when they beat them earlier in the year. Reed also completed just about 46% of his passes in that game. Marcel Reed against number 20 LSU, 12 of 21, 202 yards, did have 108 rushing, 4 total touchdowns, but 2 picks in that game. Against Mizzou, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, which was, good against Mizzou. And then Texas to close the year, 20 of 32, 180 yards, no touchdowns, 2 turnovers. Did lead that huge comeback against South Carolina, but the team was down 27-3, whatever it was at halftime. And you'd like to think a team like Miami, if they find themselves in that spot, they're not going to throw it away. Now, I know that Carson Beck did have some forgettable moments, like that 0 touchdown 4 pick game against Louisville. Obviously not good, but Carson Beck was good against Notre Dame earlier in the year. He was pretty good, even though he had a couple turnovers against South Florida, was great against Florida State, closed the year really good against Pitt. So I actually feel like his season has kind of been over dramatized. I don't think he's been that bad. And I actually think Marcel Reed is just as likely to make kind of the head scratching turnovers he is.
I agree with that. With that being said, I think Marcel Reed is the guy who can win the game in multiple ways for you, where Carson Beck cannot do that. So, like, if Marcel Reed has to tuck it and run, he's going to be able to do that. They can call the design quarterback runs. And on the flip side too, Carson Beck's probably got a little better weapons overall. But I do think how the season ended for both teams makes me lean towards Texas A&M. You're the number one team in the nation, number two team in the nation, whatever it was. You are vying for a SEC championship game. You get smacked by your hometown rival, the Texas Longhorns. You can't beat them. You have a Texas problem. And now you get a chance to make things right in a home playoff game, the biggest game in program history. You have the edge when it comes to the coaching here. I don't think Mario Cristobal is really that guy. I think Miami has, handicapped themselves in games down the stretch under Cristobal. I think Carson Beck is bound to make a mistake in this game. He's played in the SEC before, so this is no big deal for him. But I trust that Mike Elko can get it done at home, coming off, having that bad taste in your mouth for the past 3 weeks, whatever it's been.
The coaching point's probably the best one. And I got nothing to say there because you're absolutely right. Elko's a great coach. Cristobal, I'm not there with him. I just lean Miami because it is 3.5, so they can lose by a field goal and still cover. And I think Miami is, when we talk about other conferences, specifically like the ACC compared to the SEC, you always say it's a different game. It's not as physical. Miami's the exception to the rule. I do feel like they can hold up. They can withstand the physicality of these bigger SEC teams. So I think they'll be able to put up a good fight. But, if you want to make it a coaching talking point, then I got nothing to say.
Who do you think wins?
Who do I think wins?
Yeah, are
I,
you?
I guess I got to go Miami if I'm taking them on the spread. I wouldn't bet that. I would rather take them with the spread, though.
Yeah, I'd take 3.5 points. I wouldn't lay 3.5 here. If you lay 3.5, it's probably that 35-31 kind of game. 4-point win for Texas A&M, if that's what you think the route to victory is going to be for them. But anyways, Grant, the night games here we have, or the afternoon game, Tulane versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss 17.5 point favorite here. You have Lane Kiffin not coaching his old team. You have a new coaching staff in place. Like, I mean, I don't really have picks on these games just because the number's so big. I do think Oregon's going to blow JMU off the field, but like, how do you think Ole Miss is going to look without Lane Kiffin and without much of their offensive coaching staff?
Well, it's a weird one, right? Because you're right that Ole Miss their coaching staff has been decimated. Although Pete Golding, it was their DC. Now he's their head coach. It's not just acting. It's not just interim. He's actually the head coach of the program now. On the flip side, Tulane still has their head coach. John Sumrall is still coaching them. But while he's trying to prepare for a CFP game against an Ole Miss team, by the way, that beat Tulane 45-10 a month into the season, that already happened. So Ole Miss already beat him by 35. While that's happening, he's also doing media stuff for Florida. He's building his staff out over there. So on one side, a coach or a team lost their head coach. On the other, they still have it, but I really don't think he's that invested in this game. So if Tulane had Sumrall and he was staying there and he was full in, I would take Tulane to cover this spread because even though Golding was there, you have still lost a lot of manpower on that coaching staff at Ole Miss. But because he's not, he's got one foot out the door already, and Ole Miss already beat him by 35. I think you have to go with Ole Miss minus 17.5, which is a ton of points. It does kind of all those people out there who say the G5 teams don't belong in the playoff. This kind of gives credence to that with this line, but I feel like you have to lay it with Ole Miss.
Yeah, I would agree there. I mean, I think with Summerall, the funniest thing is like he's posting the picture of him like split with like Tulane gear on one side and Florida gear on the other. And it's the weirdest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
and again, Tulane's in a different spot than like if he was coaching at Florida right now and going to LSU or Alabama, there's no way he would be coaching in this game. It wouldn't even be considered. But the fact that Tulane's going to let him coach because Tulane's probably more of a breeding ground to get to the bigger levels, and this is going to help them if he coaches in the game. With that being said, it's still crazy. I do agree. He is probably more concerned about what's going to happen for the Florida Gators next season. This is like the participation trophy. Like, we made it. We won the conference. We're here. This is awesome. Take it in, boys. You're not going to get many moments like this in your life, but we're going to get our ass kicked tonight. So that's probably where Tulane's going to be in this spot. But yeah.
Well,
But
speaking of the participation trophy, I want to talk about the Pop Tarts Bowl real quick. I want to deviate. We need to get the Pop Tarts Bowl into the college football
I
playoff.
agree. Yeah.
Now they did right. They did right by the Pop Tarts Bowl because they gave them two really good teams. It's Georgia Tech versus BYU. We were bagging before we started recording. We were bagging about bowl games, saying they don't really matter, or maybe that was in one of our failed intros. I don't know, but bowl games don't really matter. This is a bowl game that I am excited to watch because of the teams and because of the bowl itself. But the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, they've got all the tradition, but Pop Tarts Bowl is where it's at these days.
Well, is the Cheez-It Bowl like the Sun Bowl now or something, or Cheez-It Bowl? I want to see
I
the
I
Citrus
I
Bowl.
have no clue.
The Cheez-It is the Citrus Bowl. That's what Texas is playing in. Because it used to
Okay.
be the Cheez-It Bowl, wasn't just the Citrus Bowl. That's a good one. The Pop-Tarts Bowl is probably the epitome of bowl games. Like, if you are not playing in the college football playoff, you want to go play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I think Notre Dame, is that the one they rejected? I think
I
it is.
don't actually know. I don't know which one they would have been in.
Notre Dame bowl rejection. I mean, they might not even have a chance. I think they rejected to play in the Pop Tarts Bowl personally, but it's so cool when they eat the mascot at the end, and like that is awesome. Like, this would be great for college football for sure, having it in the playoff. Grant, the night game here, and again, the scheduling was pretty horrendous, like genuinely terrible. I think there was a fix in with the NFL. The NFL wanted all the big games done by the time their games rolled around at 5 o'clock, because to have a 17-point spread and a 21-point spread in the last two window games on Saturday is embarrassing. But JMU versus Oregon, I will lay it with Oregon here. Not much to say about this game. They're better. Chesney's out the door. JMU looked terrible in the Sun Belt Championship game. Give me Oregon.
Yeah, another situation where, and this kind of speaks to just the broader issue with college football, which is all scheduling right now. If if they just college football has been so unprepared for what they've gotten themselves into, whether it has been the transfer portal, whether it was the COVID exemption year, whether it was NIL, now with the coaching carousel, they've just not been prepared at all. So the fact that coaches feel obligated to take their new jobs around this time of year means that you have these moments where Lane Kiffin's not coaching in the playoff after he got Ole Miss to 10-2, 11-1, whatever they were. You have Sumrall posting the video or the picture where he split down the middle. Like, it's just a sad byproduct of that. If JMU was fully bought in, coaches weren't leaving until March, players weren't thinking about their next schools already, then this could actually be maybe an exciting game. I mean, maybe not. Oregon might just blow the doors off of them, but like, Alonzo Barnett is an exciting guy. Wayne Knight can make a lot of plays out of that running back spot. He can catch it and he can receive it. So it could have been a fun game. Maybe it's probably not going to. Honestly, the best part of this is if you're on Twitter and you've seen the fan base friendship form between JMU and Oregon, it's been very wholesome, and that's probably the best part of this whole game.
Yeah, Oregon's going to smack them. I can't wait for all the playoff debates at this point, why we shouldn't have the group of five teams in. And I'll probably be watching Packers Bears at this time, I imagine. I'll split screen it with YouTube TV, but I don't have much interest in. The NFL definitely had a say in when these games were, don't you think?
Well, it could also just be the reverse, that the NFL said, hey, we're scheduling games on Saturday, and
Yeah.
the college football committee was like, well, we're not going to get as many viewers, so let's just put the bad games down there.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Grant. So perfect time to segue into the NFL. So why don't you take us into our five best spread picks of the week?
If you guys are looking for the top 5 bets of NFL Sunday in week 16, then you have come to the right place. At least we would like to think so. We are here to share our top 5 spread bets. Again, from any game, we don't discuss these, we don't compare notes. Normally, when we pick the same game, we actually end up on the same side. Great minds think alike, but we don't talk about these at all. We are here hearing them live just at the same time you guys are. So, We've each assembled our 5 picks. I would actually like to go first if you don't mind.
Yep, go for it.
So I know that I said NFL Sunday. I did forget that we do have a couple of games on Saturday, and I am going to take it to the closeout game of Saturday. I'm going to take the Packers -1.5 against the Chicago Bears. I see you shaking your head. What? So are you
I,
on the Bears side of this?
I don't really know. Like I would lean like I wrote an article this week and I picked the Bears, but like I think the Packers are a better team. What they did against Denver is concerning, but the Bears nearly beat them in Green Bay last time. So I don't know. I mean, I'd probably be a stay away for me, but I'm excited for the game.
Okay, so I mean, look, it's at Soldier Field, which I understand gives a leg up to the Bears, but here's what I just want to say. I want to just look at this from a simple value math
Yeah.
perspective, right? So when these teams played 2 weeks ago, it's a 2-3 matchup, another one of those terrible mistakes by the odds or the schedule makers. When these teams played 2 weeks ago, the Packers were favored at home by 6.5 points. Okay, they're on the road now, so you get the swing there. The Micah Parsons injury, it's a big deal. Obviously, a big deal. They're not going to win the Super Bowl without him. I didn't think they were going to win it with him. With that being said, is that alone, is us going from playing in Green Bay to playing in Chicago and Micah Parsons getting hurt, is that reason enough to go from 6.5 point favorites to 1.5 point favorites? In my mind, no, especially considering the Packers covered that line. It was close, but they won by 7. They won 28-21. You go in and you look at the numbers. The Packers had 20 more yards of total offense, but they averaged almost 2 more yards per play. They were able to do that without having a strong time of possession. The Bears were able to run the ball relatively effectively. The Packers converted 75% of their third down attempts in that game. Turnover battle was even. Caleb Williams, though, only 186 passing yards completed, about 60% of his passes. Jordan Love was very effective. Jordan Love has been dialed in recently. Got to give it to him. It's extended beyond the Toyota-thon time. The Packers, I think, are just a better team than the Bears. Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson's done a great job. Maybe we can call that coaching battle even, but I just saw the Packers do it to him, and I think they can win again.
I think they can too. It would just be a stay away for me in the sense of like the Bears were 15 yards away from potentially tying the game, and I think Ben Johnson was going for two there, so it was either going to be a 1 point loss or a 1 point win, pretty much. But yeah, I think what Caleb Williams was able to do in the pocket against the Packers last time, extending plays, that's concerning to me, especially without a guy like Micah Parsons in. So I'd probably lean Bears. I think best way to attack this game, 6 point teaser and take the Bears to 7.5 personally. But I agree with you from a value standpoint, the value is on Green Bay.
I like the teaser play too.
Awesome. So my first play going to be on Thursday Night Football. LA Rams. I would just take them on the money line, honestly, -110. And you can take -1.5 at -102. But for me, there's no real difference there. I'd rather not have to worry about overtime or something like that if there was a tie. But when I'm looking at the LA Rams here, they are so much better than the Seattle Seahawks. It's not even close. The Seattle Seahawks almost lost to 44-year-old Phillip Rivers on Sunday. They were unable to score a touchdown against the Colts defense, and that's really because of Sam Darnold. He has regressed, extremely regressed. And the last time out, he didn't play well against the LA Rams, and they had a chance to win the game on a field goal, and they didn't get it done. But when I'm looking at just this team as a whole, they have gotten significantly worse throughout the year. And the fact that they are picked second to win the Super Bowl right now is crazy. They have a really good defense. The Rams have a really good offense, though. That's the difference in this game. The Rams can compete on defense. And I'm very concerned about Sam Darnold right now. I don't think he is good enough to beat Matthew Stafford. I don't care where the game's at. Rams are winning this football game.
Yeah, it's easy to be a little, I don't want to say misled. It's easy to have your perception skewed because he did have no touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and they were kicking a field goal to win the game, which they missed. But the Rams are just better in every aspect. I wrote down Rams money line too, just because I don't know. I was just assembling my notes, looking at my favorite games, and I also wouldn't take the -1.5. There's no point. Just take them on the money line. But I like this pick.
Yeah, Rams money line. This is not one of your picks, though?
No, it's not.
Okay, cool. Give me your second.
Yeah, I'll take it on over to back to Sunday, or actually not back to Sunday. For the first time going to Sunday, I'll take the LA Chargers +2.5 at the Dallas Cowboys. So the Cowboys, they were definitely the it team. They were exciting. They were fun. Jerry gets active at the deadline. They make these moves. They rip off a 3-game winning streak. They beat the Eagles, they beat the Chiefs, and you think, wow, the Cowboys are pouring it on. And then they lose by 14 to the Lions, and then they lose at home by 8-9 at JJ McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. They have given up 78 points in their last two games after fixing their defense. And you know what? If you want to say it's the Lions, all right, cool. But giving up 34 points at home to JJ McCarthy is just inexcusable in my eyes. So the LA Chargers, they're kind of the opposite of the Cowboys. Like, they're not sexy, they're not fun. Herbert is throwing for like 180 yards a game, one touchdown, one interception. They can't block much, but they execute within their margins. They play solid defense. They're going against a defense as friendly as the Cowboys is. Cowboys can't generate a pass rush. Herbert gets a little more comfortable in the pocket. I think they'll probably win by like 3 points just because that's what they seem to do every time they're on the field, but that would be enough to cover 2.5.
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, what the Chargers did against the Chiefs, I think, has skewed some people. What they've done recently has actually skewed some people's perception. But like the Chiefs aren't a good football team. The Chargers overall have just survived. Like the Eagles aren't a good football team. They know they had to win last week, but the Chargers have maybe played above their weight class so far. And I think the Cowboys have the ability to just throw the ball over the damn field.
Oh, wait, so you're taking the Cowboys?
Yes, I'm taking the Cowboys.
Oh, okay. So we're on opposite sides there.
We're
All
on
right.
opposite sides there. I'm taking the Cowboys, Grant. I am taking the Cowboys. I misunderstood you there with your pick there a little bit, but I'll take the Cowboys. Minus 2.5.
Wait, so is that one of your picks or you
No,
just saying that?
just
Okay.
saying that. No, taking the Cowboys. That's not one of my picks. I'd stay away from it overall. I don't think Chargers that good. I hate the Chargers. How could I pick the Chargers? I hate Justin
Yeah,
Herbert.
you are Justin Herbert's number one hater.
I hate Justin Herbert. Anyways, my second pick here going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -3 against the Carolina Panthers on the road. Grant, you're probably on the Panthers +3 because you're that kind of guy, but Baker Mayfield is that guy. He will show it this week. And I look at just Tampa Bay overall. Todd Bowles' speech, like players got to care. Players got to care. And you know what? You don't have to call it the players. Maybe it's not the best move to call it the players, but at some point you got to call it the players and you got to put it back on them, right? Like the players got to go out and make the plays. I'm not saying that the defenses and the calls and the offensive calls have been perfect, but at some point the players got to go out, stop dropping the football, stop fumbling the ball, stop turning it over and go out and make plays. And they haven't been doing that. Now you're in a situation where you lose to the Falcons. You've been embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. Saints, Falcons get embarrassed, and you're in a spot here where you can make things right. Carolina obviously lost to the Saints last week. That really helps you. You're back in the driver's seat in the division, but the winner of this game really is in the driver's seat. So I will take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get it done. I expect a much better performance from them in a big game. Baker is a big game quarterback. The team consistently wins, and Carolina is a team that consistently falls apart. So I will go with the Buccaneers.
I want nothing to do with this game. Nothing at all.
Nice.
I'm sorry, but I mean the Panthers genuinely the Panthers have been the better team than the Buccaneers this season as a whole, but the Buccaneers should be so much better than them. So neither team has been performing lately. I got no clue what's going to happen here.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to get it done. What do you got, Grant?
I'm gonna go Minnesota Vikings -2.5 at the New York Giants. I hate 9. You hate Justin Herbert. I hate 9. I'm not a JJ McCarthy guy, but I can't deny what he's done the last couple of weeks. And he's played some horrible defenses. It's actually been a little run against the NFC East because he beats up on the Commanders and then he beats up on the Cowboys. And now I think he's gonna go beat up on the Giants because the Giants would be picking first in the NFL draft if it were to happen today. Jackson Dart might not play a second season in the NFL. He's played in 10 games. He's been checked for concussions 5 times. He actually had one in one of those, and he had to miss a couple of weeks. And I think he had one last week. I know they put him back in the game, but watching him try to execute that game tying drive to send it to overtime, he was missing throws by 10 to 15 yards. It looked like he was trying to throw the football with a concussion. So I don't even know if he's going to play. He might get held out mid-season or midweek. So bottom line here, the Vikings, I always call them the best coach team in the NFL. You can put the Rams in there. I don't really want to have that debate. The point is I love their coaches. There's very little to like the Giants. They are terrible against the run. Despite having so much talent on their defensive line, they actually don't generate that much pressure. Their secondary sucks. Their linebackers suck. Scadaboo's injured. Neighbors is injured. They can't block, and Dart's going to get a concussion in this game. So, yeah, I'll take the Vikings.
Have you seen the new girlfriend?
For Dart?
Yeah,
No.
you should go look her up. There's no chance he's focusing on football. And between concussions and the girlfriend, no chance that he's going to be I think he's going to be a crash out in the NFL. I don't think he's going to have a long career.
He's not going to have a long. This is horrible to say,
He
but he's not going to have a long life at this point because he's getting himself killed. Like
he's
genuinely,
he's like Lane. Like I can see why him and Lane Kiffin got
Lane
along
Kiffin.
so
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Like it is
100%.
that was the perfect quarterback coach match. You couldn't find a better one. And then between him and Scadaboo is going to be a damn streamer soon. So, yeah, it's not a good mix. I'll go. I love 9. This is also one of my picks, Grant. 9 is so good. I'm taking 9 is. Did you know he's the first quarterback in his first 8 starts of his career to throw multiple touchdown passes and run for a touchdown in 3 of 8 games? No quarterback in NFL history has ever done that except 9.
Is that a real stat?
That's a real stat. Yep.
Oh my
Multiple
gosh.
passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown in 3 of his first 8 games of his career. Only 9 has done that.
He
So
has 11 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a QBR of 34.
but he's a winner. Like he truthfully, I don't know if you can win a Super Bowl with JJ McCarthy, but let me ask you something. Who would you rather have right now? Jackson Dart or JJ McCarthy?
Jackson Dart.
Not even close. I would not Jackson Dart in New York City is the biggest like fire you could possibly come up with. The kid's going to get distracted, he's going to get concussions, and he's not going to have a long season. And he's playing for a team that's been historically bad that you can't turn around. So it's just not a good mix. I'd rather have the good defense with the good head coach, with a kid who really cares, who genuinely cares, and that 9 does care.
Well, okay. You said who would I rather have? Which quarterback, not which team. I'd rather have
Well,
the
the
Vikings.
whole
But
situation, yeah, okay, yeah. I'd rather stick JJ or Jackson probably on the Vikings, and yeah, but we don't have that option. We got JJ. We got 9.
well, I don't. I'm keeping my distance from 9. I'll
All
take
right,
him in this game. That's it.
all right. So that is my third pick. So Grant,
Yeah,
good.
back to me.
Your fourth pick.
I don't know what you're gonna think of this. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the Texans minus 14 and a half against the Raiders. The Raiders are a disgrace to professional football. They're a disgrace to professional athletes. They are an embarrassment. They're an abomination. They are 2-12 this year. They've lost 8 straight games. And I'm going to read you the scores of these losses. Or really, it's 31-0, 24-17, 31-14, 24-10, 33-16, 10-7, 30-29, 31-0. The vast majority of those have not been competitive. You've got 2 31-0s on the resume this season. Last week, Kenny Pickett under center, 15 of 25, 64 yards and an interception. The Raiders had a total of 75 yards in this game. This was the second fastest game in NFL history because the Raiders couldn't do anything. The Eagles ran 47 times. They weren't worried about throwing the football because they didn't need to. This team is so horrifically bad in every single aspect, and they're going against the Texans team that might have the best defense in the NFL. I'm not joking when I say the Texans offense might not score a point, and they could still cover minus 14 and a half. They could get 2 pick sixes and a fumble 6 in this game. It's possible. So I don't think the Raiders will score more than 7 points, and I will take the Texans to cover.
I love this play. I love it. I didn't take it, but I love it. Like the Houston Texans suddenly got good in like the middle of the season, but their defense is ever since they faced Josh Allen, like this defense has just been a different beast. I'm concerned for the health and safety of the Las Vegas Raiders. Did you see it was really funny, the video of Max Crosby when he was like, nobody believes in us tonight. This is whatever video was. I forget what he said exactly, but it was just so opposite of what happened in the football game, and I felt really bad for him.
It reminded me of the Chiefs Eagles, the Super Bowl, when they have like the NFL films on the sideline and the Chiefs are down 31-0 or whatever
Yeah.
it was. and they put on Mahomes. He's like, "Hey man, Brady was down 28-3, and they won. We could do this." And the next play is the 50-yard touchdown to Devontae. That's what it felt like.
R.I.P. to Mahomes' knee.
Yeah, that it's wild. The first time in what, like 30 years, there's not a Mahomes, Manning, or Brady in the playoffs.
You got to get rid of Andy Reid too now at this point. Like this is the perfect time to do it. Cut bait, get a new coach in, get rid of Travis Kelce, let him go be a pop star, and rebuild, get ready for a rebuild because you don't have Mahomes next year.
How long before you think Travis Kelce is in like a big time movie?
I don't know if he's a movie guy to me. He doesn't strike me as a movie guy.
You don't see him playing like a Shaq role.
I see him kind of just doing his podcast and like maybe getting on TV a little bit. Like he doesn't strike me as a TV guy either, though.
I don't know. He's definitely got the frat boy sort of frat bro sort of energy.
Yeah, but Taylor ties him down a little bit. He,
I think maybe 4 to 5 years he'll be in a movie.
I think he was cooler as like a bachelor.
Cooler and never mind.
Not cooler. I mean, obviously he's made a lot. He made a lot of money with this.
Yeah.
This was the biggest contract of his career, but like I don't know. I just feel like he's cooler as a bachelor than with Taylor.
I wonder what it's like having as much money as him and being broke compared to your wife. Like when he bought the wedding ring and it was a huge ring. Was she looking at that like laughing like, "Oh, that's chump change. That was $10 million."
Well, he's probably made like what $100 million in his career.
Let's see. Travis Kelce career earnings. He's made $111 million off of his contract. The podcast definitely bringing in some more.
Way more.
He
I think he might
yeah,
have made more than that for the podcast, probably.
he has the Nike and State Farm endorsements. So
He had Pfizer, Mr. Pfizer
yeah,
was a
let's just
big
say
one.
he's made over 200 million.
Yeah, and like Taylor makes that in one show. Taylor could buy a
Taylor
country. She could
Swift.
buy Africa,
That's not a country.
continent. She could buy a country in Africa.
Uh, she had 185 million in 2019. So the Eras Tour earned over 2 billion in ticket sales.
She's worth over $1 billion herself, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know because it's like money doesn't matter. Like even for Travis, like I don't look at Travis Kelce as somebody who's going to go blow 200 million like some of the NFL players do. There are plenty out there who blow that much money. Like so either one of them doesn't need each other for the money. With that being said, Taylor Swift's family will be set forever. Like forever. Like Travis Kelce's will be set for a very long time. Taylor Swift's like kids will still have millions in the bank.
You can't go wrong. You got to keep investing it and it'll take care of itself. You don't have to work.
You could take literally $500 million. You could take $900 million and stick it in the bank and just let it invest and barely pull from it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Wow.
That's why
Um,
it's called generational wealth.
that's generational wealth to a point that's like bigger than most people's I mean, there's not many billionaires in the world, you
No,
know?
but once you're a billionaire, I feel like it should be relatively easy to stay a billionaire because again,
Oh
you just
yeah.
let the money do its thing. You don't even touch it.
Well, pivoting off Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, as much money as they make, we're making money on my next pick. Grant, give me the New Orleans Saints -4.5 against the New York Jets. Easy pick here. When you look at what the Saints have been able to do recently, you knock off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You prove you're not a fluke by going in, knocking off the Carolina Panthers in a game where Carolina pretty much dominated. They took advantage of their opportunities, but Tyler Shuck, he looks like that guy. He's becoming that guy. 13 and 21, 44 against the Bucks with a pick. The pick was kind of ridiculous. It wasn't anything but 2 rushing touchdowns, 55 yards. It was more miscommunication. I was at the game. I saw it. 24, 32, 272, 1 touchdown against the Carolina Panthers, 8 carries, 32 yards. The dude is deadly. Like he is becoming that guy. And I think he's pretty surgical, honestly. And the New York Jets are an abomination of a team. They're poorly coached. They have nothing left on defense. They've traded all away. Offensively, they don't even know who plays quarterback every week for them, honestly. Like they are terrible. So I will gladly go with the New Orleans Saints -4.5. But anyways, Grant, you got your fifth and final pick coming in hot here.
Yep, my last one. I'll take the Denver Broncos -3 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I want to give a shout out to my guy, Trevor Lawrence, my dynasty fantasy football quarterback. This is what I was expecting early on because when you have Travis Hunter, who's no longer on the team or no longer with the team right now, but when you had Travis Hunter and BTJ and ETN and all these guys, and you signed De'Ami Brown and you have these weapons, you draft Bijel Tootin, you think you're going to have this crazy explosive offense. Then we find out, oh, the Jags are actually a defensive team. And then you get to the last few weeks, Trevor Lawrence, he scored. Now, this is against the Titans. I'll put that out there. It's against the Titans, but 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Against the Colts, 244, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And then you get to last week, which is against the Jets. Again, grain of salt, 6 total touchdowns. Probably the best game of his NFL career. So if this is the Trevor Lawrence, if this is the Jags that we're going to get moving forward, they're going to be a phenomenal team.
Yeah.
Problem is that I don't know that they are going to do that. Because like I said, last 3-game stretch, Titans, Colts, and then Jets. Now you're going on the road to face the Broncos, who have the best defense in the NFL. They are 7-0 at home. Bo Nix was dialed in last week. He's been pretty surgical the last couple of weeks. So I don't know. I just think this is a tough spot for the Jags to go out there and keep their hot streak alive.
Yeah, I think so too. I still don't trust Liam Cohen. I think he's a goofball. Like I can't get behind him. But I think the Jaguars look really good, and I agree with you. I'd beat it on Denver here. And big win for Denver. I mean, congrats to them beating the Packers the way they did. Very, very impressive stuff there.
Yeah, especially considering your Patriots choked.
Well, they didn't choke, but I'm going to go back to the
They were
Patriots.
up 21-0. They
That's
choked.
Hey, so you remember that parlay I told you about? Remember that parlay I told you about?
Yes, I do.
This was in one of our failed recordings, but the parlay, I actually bet on the Bills in the parlay, so it was like electric, and it still hasn't hit yet. We got a long way to go on it, but it was 8-1, and it included 8-1. It had Army plus 11.5. I teased them, and I shouldn't have done that after how they played. They looked great. Then it was Bills money line. Then it's Alabama, Miami, no, not Miami, Alabama, Texas A&M, and then the 2 heavy favorites at the end of the night. So I kind of feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, you should. You shouldn't feel good about the Patriots, though. Drake May. Is Drake May? I assume
I
he's
don't care.
fallen in MVP odds.
I'm a Bucks fan. I'm a,
You are
I'm
not
a,
a. You
I'm
can't
a
just pick and
Bucks
choose
fan.
every week.
It hurts more when the Bucks lose. Like I willingly bet against the Patriots last week. Like I willingly did that. I said I'm going to take the Bills because this is a good spot for the Bills. I don't think I would bet. I wasn't sure as I wasn't going to bet the Saints against the Buccaneers. You know, like I wouldn't really bet against the Bucks, but I bet against the Patriots. I love Drake May, but like if they don't win, like I wasn't crushed by it.
Yeah, Drake May, plus 400 at Bet 365 and Bet MGM plus 380 at FanDuel to win MVP. Stafford down in that minus 275 to minus 300 range.
Yeah, Stafford's going to win it. But anyways, I'll take the Patriots plus 2.5. Interesting spot here against Baltimore. Baltimore looked a little better against the Bengals, but still, I wouldn't say they looked good. It was more Joe Burrow gave the game to them. Patriots up 21-0 on the Bills, fall apart. And it kind of felt like that was going to be the case. I don't know, like throughout once the Bills went right down the field to start the second half, I'm like, okay, here come the Bills a little bit, because the Patriots have been bad in second halves and the Bills have been really good in second half. So I once they went right down the field, I'm like, okay, Josh Allen's here. Obviously, the Patriots' offense collapsed; it just wasn't their day. But I think they're better than Baltimore. I think Baltimore's got a good defense. I think the Patriots have a good defense for the most part. I think the Patriots have a really good defense when you stack it up against Lamar Jackson with how he's played. And I think the Patriots offense can run the ball, they can throw the ball, they can do it all. They just didn't have a good showing in the second half, but they haven't had that bad collapse this season. It was bound to happen at some point. And everything they want is still right there in front of them. Maybe not the 1 seed, obviously, but they can still go win the division. And I think this is a game where they're going to come out and respond after a really poor performance in the second half.
Would just like to say, guys, if you were paying attention to our video last week, I said Drake May was going to go, or he had a good chance to go under 200 passing yards for the first time this entire season, and it did happen. So make reason to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel moving forward. I'm with you in that I really do think I like this pick so much that I didn't take it because it feels like a trap. But I would be all over this. I can't find a reason why you shouldn't go with the Patriots.
Well, and it just comes down to like why teams are favored, right? Like teams are like the Bills were favored against the Patriots, not because they are the better team. Like in no world are the Bills a better football team than the Patriots from top to bottom. They have the best quarterback and best player on the field, which I guess makes them a favorite. But the Patriots were a better team. That was clear. They probably should have been the favorites in the game when you look at how it played out. The Ravens are the favorites because they're the Baltimore Ravens and they have Lamar Jackson and he may turn it up at any time. But the overall better team, better product right now is the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. No notes from me.
All right, Grant. Well, that concludes our five spreads. Why don't you take us into some NBA talk?
Yeah, really fun day in the NBA. A standalone game kind of feels maybe not quite like the finals, but it feels like the playoffs. We've kind of had this building up on Saturday. You only had two games because it was the semifinals. Now you've only got one game. You got the standalone. You got the New York Knicks taking on the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Cup final. The first winner was the Lakers. Second was the Bucks. Now we're looking for the third champion. It's going to be a first-time champion, obviously. Victor Wembanyama and company on one side, Jalen Brunson, Cat, and the others on the other side. So I can get this started. I'm going to say that, the Knicks have been playing pretty outstanding basketball recently, offensively, defensively. They've just found ways to get it done. The Spurs have just been a great team all year long. That included going on a winning streak when Wemby was out. He returns to the lineup, and they beat the Thunder, who were 24-1. So it's hard not to like both of these teams. I'm going to do what I think is probably the minority. I would imagine that most people are going to be on the Spurs. I am going to take the Knicks, and they are favored by 2.5 points, so that's not crazy. But I just feel like the Wemby effect will get people on the Spurs. But the Knicks offensively have just been a machine. They can rebound incredibly well. They're built to match up with Wemby and the Spurs in that respect. Also, defensively, they do a great job. They give up a lot of threes, but they at least make opponents work for them. They hold them to a low percentage. So overall, I do think it's a very fine margin. I get why the spread is as low as it is, but I would back the favorites.
Yeah, I'm on the same side here. Knicks are just really good when they face good teams. That's what it comes down to. 9-4 straight up when facing teams to average 116 points or more per game. Wemby coming in definitely going to skew some people to the Spurs here, but I'll take the Knicks. And honestly, like Wemby made the difference in that game, but does he still have a minutes restriction here? Will he
He
still
most
be?
likely will, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think maybe 25 or so.
So, I mean, that's a big opportunity where the Knicks can go in and capitalize when he's not on the floor that the Thunder couldn't pull away.
Yeah, 100%. He only played 21 minutes against the Thunder. Now, he dominated when he was on the floor. Wemby also has this vendetta. And I'm speaking honestly here. One of the reasons I'm so confident in Wemby potentially becoming the GOAT one day is because he is psychotic. I remember watching an interview with him during the offseason. Him and Chet Holmgren have had like this long-standing rivalry because they were both rookies in the same year. Chet, was drafted the year before, broke his foot, so he didn't end up playing. But they just don't like each other. They go at each other. We're on the court, and I was listening to an interview with Wemby, and he basically said it like burned his soul watching Chet and the Thunder win the championship and hoist the trophy and everything. And so he just hates that guy to the point that he wanted to put him in the ground, and he did it. So now I'm not questioning his overall mentality, but he was at like 1,000,000% level intensity. Can't get higher than that. So I just think any sort of minor step down, with the Knicks being, in my eyes, the better team, I think you go with them.
Yeah, definitely. One player prop here. I'm going with Mikal Bridges over 14.5 points. I do think he's going to hit this number. When you look at no Miles McBride, Jalen Brunson being on the floor, he has gone over 15 points every time that's been the circumstance, also averaging close to 19 points per game in those situations here. And I think you're going to need a big performance out of Brunson, obviously, but I think Bridges is going to have to carry the load here and support for the Knicks to get over the finish line, and that's why I'm taking him.
So I'm going to take Jalen Brunson over 6.5 assists for a similar reason. No Miles McBride. Don't think they're going to want to play Tyler Kolek or Jordan Clarkson all that many minutes. Also, because it is an NBA Cup final, you're probably going to get the starters played more minutes than they usually do. Brunson has played Wemby 3 times in his NBA career, went under twice, but he never went below 6 assists. And in one of those games where he went under, he scored 61 points. So passing was really an afterthought, and the odds are he's not going to score 60 in this game. With Wemby being just roaming around the interior and with Brunson being a small dude, there are going to be some times where he might normally take the shot and he passes out of it. He's going to play more minutes. The Knicks offense has been humming, so I think that's a smart prop to go with.
Anything else, Grant?
I got some others, so if you guys do want to see them, they are posted over there at WSN.com. But for this video, that's probably going to do it for me.
All right, guys. Well, make sure you check out WSN.com, the World Sports Network, for all the picks and knowledge that you need to know when it comes to sports betting. We got a big week coming up. We're very excited for it. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like the video, share the video, do it all. And Grant, take us out of here.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ride the Line. Tanner and I appreciate you all joining us one final time. Hit the like and the hype button. That's the number one way you can support us. To the new viewers, welcome. To the returning subscribers, we appreciate you guys being here. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you think of the picks, and we will catch you all in the next episode of Ride the Line.